Long COVID seems to be just another reason for them to push vaccines. If you don't have your health, what do you have?
You are a functional medicine doctor.
Join us as we blend modern and ancient wisdoms to be well now.
Welcome to the Be Well Now podcast. I am Nick, the Curious Patient.
And I'm Dr. Ron Dummar. Welcome, everybody.
I like your shirt. Plants are the best medicine.
Yeah, I figured since we were talking about some of my favorite plants, well, all of plants are my favorites, but I figured since we were talking about them today, I'd wear my plant shirt.
Your gift, I think, one of them is some of your herbal formulas. You literally have a long COVID remedy, which I did not know. I actually brought this up to you a few days ago. I said, I just saw this article. They're saying long COVID is a real concern, so that everyone over 6 months should get a vaccine. They're seeing more wastewater appearance of COVID,
Yes.
COVID, blah, blah, blah. Like, if I were to see that and come to you as the doctor and say, what advice do you have for me?
Well, what I would say to you is that let's address the symptoms. Let's see what's actually affecting you, what symptoms of long COVID you're experiencing, and then let's create a plan to address that symptomology. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. I do have a single herbal formula called Long COVID Remedy that helps with a swath of the symptoms. However, there may be some other nutrients or additional things that we need to throw in there to really give you the specific honed-in therapy for yourself.
Fatigue.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about some of the symptoms. Brain fog,
issues.
Respiratory, coughing, dizziness, gastrointestinal problems, right? Heart palpitations. This is a big one because a lot of people, with regards to the vaccine as well, we're experiencing heart issues, inflammation on the heart and the heart muscles, okay? And so that is a problem that a lot of people are also experiencing with long COVID symptoms. Loss of taste or smell, thirst, chronic cough, chest pain, and even, this is an interesting one that I think was mentioned in the article that you sent to me, abnormal movement patterns. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. Some sort of dyskinesia, some sort of broken down movement ability by the body. So it's either affecting neurologically or it's affecting the musculoskeletal, the muscles themselves, breaking them down so that you're having to either compensate away from those muscles that are affected or the neurological input as well that's affected.
Doesn't sound fun at all. So one thing I saw in this article is they seem to be suggesting that if you get your vaccine, it mitigates your risk for long COVID. Is that the conjecture? And
that's the hope. And so that's the idea really is, and they're pushing this, I believe, as a means to say, hey, let's increase our vaccine program. Let's try to get more vaccines into arms. And that tends to be how a lot of that push happens. And they're using long COVID and the symptoms of long COVID as a tool for them to increase the distribution of their vaccine program.
So what say ye? All right, let's talk about the community health and wellness approach to, I'm in here, I'm symptomatic, doc, I think I got COVID a long time ago and I think I've got long COVID. Like, what would you suggest for me in terms of plants, herbals, ways to feel better?
Yeah, so the first thing to do is when you do have or you think you have COVID, or let's even back up before that. Before that, even let's start creating a plan for you to prophylactically prevent COVID or to allow your body to have the greatest chance and opportunity to fend off COVID viral particles if you happen to get it. And so those are things like homeoprophylaxis, which we've talked about in the past briefly, and we will have a podcast coming up on. But also,
if people don't know what that is, though, what are they?
They're going to have to hold tight. So homeoprophylaxis really is essentially immunizing the body. It's training the body to withstand a pathogenic invasion in the future. So before that pathogenic invasion occurs, prophylactically, that's what that word means, essentially, before it happens or occurs, we're going to teach the body how to develop immunity or front a defense against it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one suggestion.
So we're going to put on your shield, give you a sword. We're going to really help you with your defenses today. So another way of doing it.
Folks are curious about this. Your office, you can be found online, right? Community Health and Wellness.
Community Health and Wellness. chwheber.com. You can find us there. It is also Community Health and Wellness, I think, .com or communityhealthandwellness.org. But you can find us online. We're here in Heber City, and we serve, whoever is interested or needed, and we also will speak to and teach doctors some of our approaches and our philosophy as well. So anybody who's interested or wants to learn, or if you want to be able to, you're a practitioner and you want to be able to use some of these techniques and treatment methodologies, go ahead and reach out to us.
All right. So anyway, if folks have more interest that gets piqued and they don't have a question answered, there's just a resource for them. It's in the description of the podcast as well. So homeoprophylactics, what you recommend first?
Yes. So what we want to do as far as the herbals, what we're going to be talking about today is 5 herbals. And there's a bonus one that I put on here. If we get to it, we might. But the 5 are ren shen. Okay, and I'm going to give you the Chinese names, but this is ginseng, wu zi, which is sisandra berry, chai hu, which is bupalrum, huang qin, which is bicalensis, and bansha. Okay, so bansha, each of these herbs play a specific role either with the respiratory system, the digestive tract. They help with energy, and they have antiviral properties with them. So we're going to talk about them specifically and let you know how they could benefit you in a long COVID type situation.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the first one is ren shen. We wanted to talk about ren shen.
That's ginseng?
Yep, that's ginseng. Ginseng, as a lot of people know, you find this in like energy drinks, or not even energy drinks, but like 5-hour energy, that little shot.
Right.
Anything that's promoting energy, I think, in our culture typically will have some form of ginseng or some amount of ginseng in it. Okay. And it's been used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years. As an adaptogen.
That's in this formula. So
yes. All of these herbs that we talk about are in this formula today.
And why can't I find this at like Walgreens?
Because I made it. Because this is my formula.
There we go.
That's why. This is my formula that I made for long COVID. And that's also why it's going to be the most effective for my patients.
There
and
you go.
The other great thing is if you do seek out my treatment or our treatment at our office, I'm not a big guy of a one-size-fits-all approach. And so there may be some, again, there may be some nuances based on the symptomology that you're experiencing that we need to adjust or adapt some of the herbs that are in there, or we need to adapt and adjust the treatment plan. So yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Make sure you have a really good care provider if you choose to go anywhere else to receive COVID or long COVID treatment. One of the cool things about ginseng in research with regards to COVID-19 is that it has shown incredible antiviral effect. And what it does is it actually modulates the natural immunity and acquired immunity. So it helps your body. It helps your body to front an immune response to virtually any pathogenic invasion. So that's one of the reasons I really like to utilize ren shen or ginseng, and that's one of the reasons I've put it in here. So I use it with patients to improve their vitality, their overall well-being, their what is that? The idea of getting a pump, like we use a little bit in Lionade. There's Lionade has ginseng in it too, and we use it essentially to increase the gains in exercise, right? So it's going to help your cells, your metabolic activity of your muscles, and it's going to help you even recover from long-term illnesses.
You love talking about plants.
Yeah, I could talk about plants all day long.
Heal?
Yes.
At least I've heard of ginseng. That's exciting. So that's good for you.
Yeah, ginseng is great for you. Absolutely. The next one we wanted to talk about is chai hu or bupalrum. And chai hu is an herb that I like to use specifically to help the liver.
Okay.
So in any of the formulas, if people are dealing with hormone-related issues, if they're dealing with methylation issues, people are really... methylation is a really hot topic right now, MTHFR, which is an enzyme that interferes with, it prevents the body, if it's disrupted, from properly detoxifying or clearing things from the body. So chai hu can actually improve methylation. So it can improve the body's ability to detoxify and clear. And the liver is a massive cleaner in the body. It's constantly cleaning your blood. It's making sure that the product of the blood is not too thick or too thin. And it's also regulating the fat molecules, the cholesterol in the blood, so that you have healing. So cholesterol is actually healing tissue of the cardiovascular system. And so your liver needs to be healthy in order to support your cardiovascular system, your heart, and your vessels. So if the liver is not healthy, or if it's deficient in any way, which chai hu helps to benefit that, but it's going to affect you cardiovascularly. And this is one of the symptoms that we see in COVID is cardiovascular effect. So we need to make sure we're taking things to support the cardiovascular system. The other thing that's really great about chai hu is I use it as an anti-inflammatory. It can help reduce inflammation in the blood, right? And that's why we take an anti-inflammatory, is to reduce inflammation, okay? It's also will support and help your body to front its natural defenses. So your immune responses, it's going to support your natural immune responses in the body. So yeah, that's what I love about chai hu.
All right, what's next?
So next, let's go to wu wei zi, or Shishandra berry. And now you hear me say...
Are these things that folks can get at their local natural, a grocery store? Or are these just things in your herbals and we're just explaining the beauty of them, and there's a lot of wonder in the plants that help us heal?
So there is a difference between buying supplements off a store shelf. So typically it'll be a potency. Oftentimes, like I'll say to patients as well, yeah, you can get it from wherever you want to, but it's important to understand that physician-sourced supplements have a potency that is different than what you purchase on the shelf at a store. A lot of people don't realize that, but there is a potency, there's a strength to the supplements, and that is different. Okay, so there are extracts that we utilize for these herbals, and you can get a variety of different ratios on that extract. So we're giving you a very good, clean, potent product when we provide it here.
Okay.
So, but you can absolutely, from the store shelf, you can go buy ginseng, you can go buy Shishandra berry. You can go buy a variety of these things at stores, and some of them are easier, obviously, to find than others. Like ginseng, you can find in a lot of places if you want to get it. So yeah, I don't have anything against you doing it. I think it's a great idea to, if you're going to choose to say, hey, I want to try to be a little healthier, I want to help my body and support it, that's a great way. But if you want to take it to the next level, and you're able to in a place where you can, find a physician that has access to and can provide that support for your body with the higher potency substances.
Wu wei zi.
So wu wei zi, yeah. So wu wei zi or wu wei zi.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
But my just to clarify for everybody, my Asian professors, I don't think that I ever fully satisfied them with my pronunciation entirely either. So Shishandra berry is what we call this one. Shishandra berry, this one in Chinese medicine, we say it has all the 5 flavors. Okay. So when something has a multiplicity of flavors, it means it has a multiplicity of actions. So we know Shishandra berry in general, it's also an adaptogenic herb. It's antioxidant properties. It's a berry, right? So berries, we often say about berries, they have strong antioxidant property. It means it's going to help with the heart and the cardiovascular system in a significant way. It's going to support cognitive function because it's going to reduce neuroinflammation, okay? It's got all 5 flavors, which is so unique for an herb, which means it's going to penetrate to a variety of different areas and have an impact in the cell in a very specific way, okay? So we know specifically that Shishandra berries will reduce fatigue, We know that they will support cognitive function and help the brain. And we know that it's going to help patients to manage stress. Okay. So those can be a significant benefit for patients that are suffering with long COVID symptoms, which happen to be fatigue, cognitive brain functions, right? Feeling that fogginess in the brain, and then also their ability to even continue. What I find with some of my patients as we're working with them at the beginning, they're like, you know what, I'm really doing well now, but I seem to just be feeling like, oh, I'm going to be able to go do this, so I'm going to plan something. And then by the time they get to doing the thing that they had planned to do, then they feel fatigued, right?
Right.
So, and then we need to get them past that point. So it is a process, but that endurance, is going to help you with that, to be able to get the endurance throughout the rest of the day to carry it all the way through.
It's nice to know there's all these, natural ways to help the body.
Absolutely. Right.
What else you got for us?
So the next one is Huang Qin. It's one of the three yellows. We call them the three yellows. These are some powerful antibiotics in Chinese medicine. Scutellaria bicalensis, or bikel. Okay. Sometimes people call it skullcap. That's a name that a lot of herbalists out there will be familiar with. Skullcap. It's called Huang Qin or bicalensis. It's really effective at anti-inflammation. It's a strong and a powerful anti-inflammatory. And for COVID sufferers, long COVID sufferers, it's going to help with their respiratory system. So any of the respiratory related symptoms that patients are feeling, especially as it relates to inflammation from long COVID symptoms. And I didn't mention this, maybe this is a little tangent, but recognize that long COVID essentially means that the viral particles or the proteins of the virus are remaining present in the body, right? They've taken up shop in the body, and your body is attempting to create some sort of hormesis or homeostasis with them. It wants to find a place of homeostasis. And if that place of homeostasis zaps your energy, zaps your mental clarity, that becomes a problem for a lot of people. Then that's why we call it long COVID, because literally you are still dealing with those viral particles, right? And the effects that has on your body. So Huang Qin is going to get in there. It's going to clean up the cell. It's going to help with the inflammation. Oftentimes people's cells themselves, it's called cellular inflammation, the phospholipid bilayer, will be inflamed. And if it's inflamed, then it can't accept or receive, it can't give or accept, right, any nutrients that are going to be more beneficial for it. So we need things that can actually penetrate more rapidly into the cell or more easily into the cell. Huang Qin is one of those. And also it's going to help reduce the inflammation that's at the cell level, which is going to improve its cellular leakiness.
I believe you.
Yeah, well, you should.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about.
One of the cool things about Bicalen with regards to COVID-19 is that it has been shown to inhibit SARS-CoV-2 induced injury, both in vitro, which means, and in vivo. So in vivo means like in life, like in living specimens. And then in vitro is basically in a test tube, right? So it's been shown to inhibit SARS-CoV-2 in specimen, right? In living specimens, but also in a test tube. So it's effective in both categories, which is actually really, really promising. How
long could it take if someone starts on this formula or uses this herbs and they're struggling with long COVID? I mean, how long does it take for the body to start to improve?
So the longer that you've had long COVID, the longer that you've been dealing with it, and the symptoms haven't ameliorated, the higher chance you're going to have it for a longer period of time, or meaning that it takes a longer for it to go, right? You're building up more of a static state or a homeostasis with that pattern of disease. And so we then need to repattern the body by saying, okay, we're trying to create a new pattern. So we're going to plant things over here. We're going to reduce inflammation there. We're going to run water through here. And then eventually the system's going to respond. So it does take time, and you have to nudge it. And it's like growing a garden, right? And sometimes when you grow a garden, or when you, let's say you move into a house.
Is that everything health-wise? It's kind of like growing a garden. Thinking
for
about
sure.
that, like, because I think we just want a light switch to go off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The nudging and the growing of a garden, the fact that it takes a while, that resonates more with me in terms of my own experiences. Yeah,
well, and sometimes I look at it like this, like having a patient come to me, and often they've been through a variety of different doctors, and they've been treated with XYZ, and then they've been told this and that, and it's like, hey, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm hopeless, I guess. Will you just tell me what you think, and we'll see if we can even do anything. And it's like at that point, I look at them, they've come to me, and it's like a house that you buy that is in complete disrepair. And you look at the yard, like bushes are overgrown, trees are not trimmed, the grass is tall, right? And as you start cleaning up some of those things, because we find this, as you start cleaning up some of those things, you realize, whoa, there's a hornet's nest, right? And it's like, well, now we got to ameliorate this hornet's nest, right? So things are improving and looking better, but then you get to this really significant thing, and you have to ameliorate that. It doesn't mean that things are worsening. It just means, hey, this is the process of getting to where we're going. And that is a beautiful looking lawn, a well manicured space, and also a beautiful home. And that's what we're creating.
And you just don't do that right away in one big fell swoop. It just takes time.
Yeah, it's like you're trimming back some of the hedges, and then you realize, wow, there's a whole bunch of gophers here. Or, you know what I mean? It's like you've got animals or rats now, different things like that. And you have to figure out how to clear that all out, and how to mitigate that, and how to create some level of homeostasis moving forward that's going to be manageable and sustainable for the patient.
And it's not just the yard aesthetically looks good. It's that the yard is connected to the house, is connected to the bathroom, everything is interconnected.
It's all connected.
So that's why I got to trust the process with you in terms of when to do what. And
yeah, we'll walk you through the process.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you got another herb?
Yeah, this is a favorite of mine. All of them are my favorites, like I've said, but it's Pinella. Bansha. And I told a story, I think, about this once. Do you remember this story?
Yes, you walk in and then the guy doesn't understand you in the shop.
Everybody loves the story.
Oh, it's such a good story. I'm surprised it's not viral.
I know. I thought for sure it would be viral.
It is. Edge of your seat. Cannot stop. Like, what's going to happen
so
next?
So anyway, it has to do with my perfect pronunciation of Bansha.
Uh-huh.
And so anyone who's laughing at my pronunciation of it now, that's fine. I apologize. But Pinella, that's fine. How about that? This herbal Bansha is so effective and so beneficial for lungs and for lung health. It's used in Chinese medicine formulas of all types, but specifically it's used in lung formulas. And it's helpful, especially if there's any sort of congestion, like if we're talking about an even developing type of pneumonia. But it's also when you combine it with some of the other herbals we've talked about, like Huang Qin, it can be beneficial for inflammatory condition in the lungs as well, right? So it's like you're addressing the fluid in the lungs, which is what we're doing, and we're also addressing the potential inflammation to the lungs, which could be a bronchitis or a pneumonia, or it could be a little bit of both. And, disease is not a specific unilinear pattern. It doesn't just flow, oh, now we're doing this. It could go inflamed, or it could go more to fluid congestion, right? So it's like, what is my body going to do? How's it going to respond? It's based on the way I'm living, the things I'm consuming, the air that I'm breathing, the things that I'm doing every day. And so, disease is a constant ebb and flow, and it's a continuum. And we're here just trying to create some semblance of homeostasis along the ride.
Right.
Okay. So it's particularly effective in treating respiratory conditions, like we talked about, phlegm type of coughs, It's very, very common to be used with long COVID patients as it supports digestive health also, and it helps alleviate nausea and vomiting. So if it's anti-nausea and anti-vomiting, and those are some of the symptoms, which is a classic symptom too, that you have, well, that's going to be very beneficial for you in long COVID situation.
And then ashwagandha is the last one, the bonus one. I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So ashwagandha is another adaptogenic herb. So adaptogen essentially means it kind of adapts to what it needs to. It does a variety of different things. So like ginseng, it's adaptogenic. So ashwagandha, when you take it, it will say, oh, what does the body need? What is needed right now by the body?
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why these are some of the herbals that, like ginseng and ashwagandha, these are some of the herbals that we feel really comfortable as herbalists just giving to people, and even just having people take. And that's one of the reasons why I said, well, yeah, you could go buy ginseng on the store shelf if you want to and take it. But it's very, very beneficial for the body. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps to improve your energy as well. It'll improve your mood. It'll improve hormone function as well. Because it helps to regulate cortisol levels. Okay. So cortisol is like your sleep-wake cycle. Cortisol pushes sugar into your blood so that, boom, your eyes open. And it responds specifically to light frequencies. So as the light rays of the sun start penetrating, the kidney gets activated, the kidney adrenals release cortisol, it dumps into your blood, sugar, and then boom, you're awake and ready to go for the day. So if you have a difficult time getting started, ashwagandha might be a beneficial herb for you to throw in your tea. Like if you're going to consume green tea, and you might want to say, well, I'll try a ashwagandha green tea mix.
I had some green tea this morning. And I think I'm on one of your herbals that has ashwagandha in there somewhere anyway.
See, there you go. So you did it already. Well done.
I'm already good.
You already got it. Well, you're great then. So we do have a specific long COVID remedy for any patients who are concerned about that. If you are not a patient, you can get we can do a consult. We can do a virtual consult. I do have specific herbal evaluation forms that we can go through and see which herbals are going to be most beneficial for you. You can call our office at 435-657-3696, or you can even contact us on our website.
It's just nice to know there's hope.
There is hope.
If you've been running into a wall and you're just basically I got this long COVID thing, I don't know what to do. There is an alternative to maybe what you've been living with. And this man's a gifted healer, so I believe in you.
Mother Earth will always provide for you.
That sounds like some out there stuff,
Yeah.
The fact that the plants have the power.
Plants are the best medicine, baby. Keep it going.
Be well now, everybody.
Be well now. Namaste.
Namaste.